Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to our virtual science classroom. This is your teacher Da del Mundo. And right at this moment, we are going to tackle all about quarter three, week number four. But before anything else, let us have this short prayer. Thank you very much for that wonderful prayer. And Miss Secretary, do not forget to check the attendance, count the number of boys, and count the number of girls who are attending our synchronous class for today. Okay. So basically, we are going to talk about waves in quarter three, week number four. Maybe you are talking about moving of your hands left and right, or maybe the movement of your body. And maybe you can say that when we are talking about waves in the ocean. So maraming mga pagkakataon na we can describe waves. But in science, what waves is all about or what waves are. So yan yung itatakil natin for this week number four. So let's go. That this supplementary learning material will help us, number one, in lesson one, waves carry energy. And for lesson number two, about sound waves. So those are the two lessons that we are going to focus this morning. So as we look back, all you have to do is to complete the crossword puzzle about motion. So our previous topic is all about motion. So all you have to do is to answer this crossword puzzle by reading the questions or by reading the sentence here in our questions below that is located in your module. So tingnan niyo yung module nyo, nandiyan din yun sa Google Classroom. For example, across, ito yung pahigang sagot or yung horizontal boxes. Ayan. Okay. When we are talking about down, those are the answers downward. Yung mga pababang sagot. Nagkaintindihan. So for example, let us answer number one, across. Velocity at the start. So, isipin nyo kung ano yung velocity at the start. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes. At yung velocity at start is initial. So the answer is initial velocity or initial lang. Nakaintindihan? Kasi yun lang yung hinahanap ng boxes, 7 letters. So you are going to answer it one by one. Nakaintindihan? Finish it. So that is just an example. So for our lesson number one, we are going to talk about waves carry energy. So what does it mean? So as a brief introduction, we all know we have picture number one and picture number two. Nakakakita tayo ng waves in the ocean. Not just small waves, but sometimes big waves. Tama? Siguro, we can compare sa mga kapag sabihin na natin na sa mga waves na to, doon natin pwede rin ihanmin-tulad yung waves sa science. Because waves carry energy. So, kapag nakita kayo ng alon sa dagat or ng waves sa dagat, it carries energy. Example, tsunami. So, if you are aware of tsunami, di ba na it can destroy a lot of things. So, sa mga bagay na yun, hindi naman niya masisira yung mga buildings or other structures or infrastructures without its energy, right? So, ganun din yun. So, waves occur all around us in the physical world. So, waves are everywhere. So, malalaman nyo bakit everywhere ang wave. So, a wave is a periodic disturbance. So, pag sinabi natin disturbance, kasi sometimes, ang tubig, for example, or ang dagat, kapag at rest, walang wave. Pero kapag na-istorbo or na-disturb, saka nagkakaroon ng wave. Nagkaintindihan? So it is a disturbance that moves away from a source and carries energy with it. Kaya nga siguro, pag sinampal ka, pag wave mo ng hands mo, tinamaan ka. So it has energy, right? So for example, nilatigo ka. Di ba ang latigo, pag winave mo, tapos pag tinampas kang ganun, that's also a wave. It has energy. And tsunami carries energy as well. So for example, earthquake. Earthquake is also an example of wave. So earthquake waves shows us, or it shows that the amount of energy carried by a wave can do a work on objects by exerting forces that moves objects from their original positions. It can move uh, one television to another place. Diba? Sometimes not just television, sometimes houses, sometimes cars. Lalo na kapag sobrang lakas ng earthquake. And your ears can also detect sound waves. So ang sound is also a wave. So our ears can detect sound waves. That's why we can hear things. It's because of the sound waves. Kaya tayo sa eardrum natin, doon nagpa-pass through ang sound waves. That's why we can detect or hear some sounds. And your skin can get burned by ultraviolet waves. Saan yung ultraviolet waves? Sa araw. So light has also waves, the ultraviolet waves. If you stay under the sun for too long, you can get sunburn. So it's because also of the wave. That is why wave is everywhere. Okay? They are unseen. And there are different types of waves that we are going to discuss in this topic. So number one, the longitudinal wave. And this type of wave is based on its motion or how the energy is being carried. Okay, so in the longitudinal wave, source moves left and right, and coils move left and right too. So as you can see, ito yun. The wave moves left and right. So it goes also with the energy. And like the best example of this one is the slinky. Alam niyo slinky? Ito yung example niya. Yung laruan natin, di ba? But in laboratory science, we have our own slinky which is made up of metal. So ito yun. Mas madaling makita dyan. Siguro pwede nyo isipin or ihalin tulad that the longitudinal wave is the same movement as a maggot. Okay, yung mga maggots, para silang mga, sabihin na natin na uod, di ba, pag gumagalaw sila, stretch, di ba, mag-stretch sila, then compress, stretch, then compress. Yan yung example na longitudinal wave. And the other one is the transverse wave. So in the transverse wave, the source moves up and down, and coils move up and down too. See? So it moves up and down as the energy is being transported. This one, the particle motion is left and right, that is longitudinal, while in transverse, that is up and down. So maybe you can illustrate this one like the movement of a snake, di ba, pa letter S. Parang doon natin siya pwede i-compare. So the subsequent direction of motion of individual particles of a medium is the same as the direction of vibration of the source of the disturbance. So the same. They are directly proportional to each other. Kung saan yung movement ng particles or direction of motion ng individual particles, doon din yung direction ng vibration. Okay? So we have longitudinal and transverse wave. Ito ay based on its movement or motion. Next, let us dissect a wave. So I have here an example of a wave and its different parts. So we have the origin, we have the amplitude, we have the wavelength, we have the crest, we have the another amplitude, upper amplitude and then lower amplitude, we have the trough, okay, and then we have another wavelength, the lower wavelength. So let us discuss each part. So in the different parts of the wave consist of crest, which is the highest point of a wave, and this is the highest point of a wave, and that is the crest. Next one, we have trough, which is the lowest point of a wave, can be found here. And then we have line of origin, meaning to say where it started, kung saan siya nagsimula, signifies the original position of the medium. And then we have wavelength. Wavelength is the distance between two consecutive crests. So this is a crest, this is a crest, and then the distance between them is the wavelength. Even on the other side of it, between two troughs, okay, at the downside. And then we have amplitude. Amplitude is the distance from the line of origin to the crest or trough of a wave. So ito yun. Okay, this is amplitude, this is amplitude. Okay, so those are the different parts of a wave. So now we are going to discuss the different characteristics of a wave are as follows. So number one, wavelength. Wavelength is the distance from one crest to the next, or between any two adjacent points in the same state of motion. Meaning to say, it is expressed in meters, or the distance from one trough to the next trough. So, pwede siya sa taas. Pag sa taas, between two crests. Pag sa baba, between two troughs. Okay? So, it depends on both of the speed and frequency of a wave. So, speed, ito yung bilis. Okay? And then amplitude is the maximum displacement from the equilibrium position. The SI unit is meters. So, ito rin yung ginagamit natin dyan. Amplitude. Then, frequency is the number of cycles per unit time. So, the unit that we are going to use is per second or hertz. So, usually hertz yung nakikita natin. And then, number 4, period is the time required for one complete wave to pass a particular point. The SI unit that is being used here is seconds. So, it is also the reciprocal of frequency. So, kabaliktaran ni period sa frequency. Okay? And number 5, wave speed is the distance traveled by the wave per unit time. So, meter per second, or this one, m dash or slash s. Then, it depends on the medium through which the wave is traveling, which is the wave speed. So, wave speed can be expressed mathematically. V is equal to wavelength times frequency. Okay, this is the symbol for wavelength. It's like an inverted Y, baliktad na letter Y. Okay, so that is how you write wavelength in symbol. Okay, then we have frequency, yung small letter F. Okay, so that's how you get the wave speed. So for lesson number 2, since this is part of a wave, and sound wave is very important to tackle about this one. So as an introduction, we know that we have two different types of waves, right? We have longitudinal and we have transverse waves. In sound wave is an example of longitudinal wave. Okay, while we have transverse wave, right? And transverse wave is an example of the electromagnetic wave. Electromagnetic wave is the wave that is present in light. Okay? Yung nasa ilaw, yung nasa araw. So now we are going to focus in sound waves. So can you imagine a day without hearing anything? Like you are a deaf. No music from your video, no words coming from your friend, no beat that makes you dance on your feet. None. Absolutely none. Can you just imagine a world with no sound? Of course, those people who are hearing impaired, I experienced that when I was in high school. May mga classmates akong hearing impaired. And those people or those students who are doing the sign language, okay, because they cannot hear. And because of that, if you cannot hear, you will not be able to speak. So sila yung mga nagiging pipe pag lumalaki. Kasi hindi sila nakakarinig. Okay? The way we are, the mere fact that we are speaking is because we learn by listening. And sila, hindi sila nakakapagsalita dahil hindi sila nakakarinig. Okay? Nakaintindihan? So, maybe we can put our life into their shoes. Diba? Pwede natin i-apply yung buhay natin. What if kaya kung wala akong narinig? Diba? It's very empty and it's very hard for us to live in a world without music, without beat, without hearing any words at all. Okay? But in reality, since you are normal, you and I are normal, at malaking pagpapasalamat natin doon. Kasi tayong lahat ay nakakarinig. Because sound is everywhere. Why? Sound produced by any vibrating objects. So kapag may narinig kayong nagva-vibrate, example, ang alarm clock, okay? Nagva-vibrate ang alarm clock, kaya naririnig nyo and it produces sound. So like when you talk, for example, right now I am talking and you can try this at home. Try placing your fingers in your throat, not inside, but here, okay, on your neck. while saying your name, try it. Now, you talk, and then while you are holding your throat, there you are. You can feel it. It's vibrating, right? Do you feel the vibration? Yes, it is. So when you are not talking, is there any vibration? Try to be quiet. None at all, of course. And that's very good because sound is produced by a material that vibrates. There is one more about sound that you will learn when you will get through with the activities that follow. So yung isa na yun ay yung electromagnetic wave. So this time, ang nagba-vibrate sa ating dito, sa ating throat ay yung vocal cords. That's why we produce sounds because those vocal cords are vibrating to each other. And because of our tongue, we can speak different words or letters. Okay? And especially, have you ever tried to play a guitar? Sino marunong sa inyo mag-guitar? Anyone? Okay. So when you are playing a guitar, when you strum it, one string from the other string, you feel the vibration and it produces different sounds, right? And today, I will let you not experience, but I will let you listen this one. So all you have to do is to hear this out and listen carefully. So this is like a standard tuning of a 6-string guitar. So yung pagtotono ng gitara. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strings. So these are the things that you will answer. Number 1, what is the string that has the highest sound or pitch? Number 2, what string has the lowest sound or pitch? Okay? Okay, so did you hear it, class? Very good. So now we can answer this one. For question number 1, what string has the highest sound or pitch? Any answer? Okay, very good. The last string. So yung last string na nandito, ito yung may pinakamataas na pitch o yung pinakamatining na sound na narinig niya, right? And then what string has the lowest sound or lowest pitch that you heard a while ago? Very good, the first string. Because this first string produces low pitch. Okay, very good observation, huh? So this time, I will let you know about the different speed of sound waves at 0 degrees Celsius because temperature affects the movement or the speed of the sound waves. Especially kapag mainit at kapag malamig. Alam niyo naman, kapag malamig, malalayo ang particles, mas mabagal ang traveling ng sound. Okay? So we have here material A and then material B. In material A, we have air, hydrogen, and water. And then material B, we have wood, iron, and aluminum. This is the speed of the different sound waves. In meters per second, we have 332 for air, 1,284 for hydrogen, 1,461 for water, and for wood, we have 4,000 meters per second. For iron, 5,000 meters per second. Aluminum, we have 6,420 meters per second. So basically, which do you think has the highest or the fastest sound waves? Mhm. Aluminum, very good. Then followed by iron, followed by wood, followed by water, hydrogen, and last is the air. Because sound travels fastest in solid, then to liquid, and lastly, freeze through air. So, mas pinakamabilis kasi mas malalapit yung particles sa solid at malalayo naman sa air or sa wind o kahit saan man na open area. That's why sound waves travels the slowest in air. So, it cannot travel in a vacuum as well. So, pag sinabi nating vacuum, eto, katulad niyan, yung glass container na yan, and then you pump out the air. So, kahit anong bell ng inyong alarm clock, you will not hear anything because it is inside a vacuum. Naintindihan? So, kahit anong gawin mo, hindi ka magigising dyan kasi nasa isang vacuum ang iyong alarm clock. And sound waves cannot travel into a vacuum. So, all you have to do is to remember the following things. Number one, a wave is a disturbance in a medium that moves from one phase to another. Number two, a wave transfers energy without transferring the matter. Number three, there are two kinds of waves. We have electromagnetic waves and mechanical waves. Electromagnetic waves do not require any medium of propagation. It can travel through a vacuum, katulad ng sunlight. Okay. And then mechanical waves require a medium for propagation like solid, liquid, or gas. So under mechanical waves, we have the longitudinal and transverse waves, or sometimes it is called the surface waves. Number five, transverse waves are waves in which each particle moves perpendicular to the direction of the wave motion, while longitudinal waves are waves in which the particles of the medium move parallel to the propagation of the wave motion as well. And also, surface waves have characteristics of both transverse and longitudinal waves. For number six, the characteristics of a wave are, we have letter A, period, that is expressed or written in symbol with a big letter P. Wavelength, that is written in a symbol for the inverted Y. Then frequency, that is written in small letter F. Wave speed for V. And then amplitude for letter A. And for number seven, wave speed is equal to the product of wavelength and its frequency. Then sound is a longitudinal wave that is produced by vibrating body in a medium. Number nine, sound is transmitted through material medium like solid, liquid, or gas. It cannot travel through a vacuum. It travels fastest in solid and slowest in gas or gases. So that is why when you are in the outer space, because outer space is a big vacuum, you cannot hear any sound there. But electromagnetic wave, such as sunlight, can travel through a vacuum. Kaya, dito pa rin sa Earth, nararamdaman natin yung sunlight. It's because electromagnetic wave can travel through a vacuum. Okay? And all you have to do is to answer the following in our quarter number 3, week 4. So you can watch and review the video and answer all the questions and the activity in your module that is located in your Google Classroom. For lesson number 1, answer pages 3, which is the pretest, 4 to 5 and 6. For lesson number 2, answer pages 7 to 8 and page 9 for the post-text. So If you have any questions, clarifications, or if you want to ask something about our topic for today, you can reach me through our different social media accounts, from my YouTube channel to my Facebook page, especially here. Okay, do not message me in my personal account, and you can also DM me here if you cannot access your messenger. Okay, so I hope you learned something about race today, and that's all for now. Have a nice day and kudos. God bless you all. See you next week. Bye, everyone.